Welcome to the Mirror Moves, where stories expose more than just drama. They reveal the culture behind the chaos. Today, we're not just telling a story, we're unraveling a phenomenon. What happens when a perfectly normal name becomes a meme, a symbol, and a warning? This is the surprising, scandalous, and strangely satisfying origin of Karen, the name that launched 1,000 eye rolls. Once upon a time, back when people still had landlines and malls were packed every weekend, Karen was just another name. In fact, in the 1960s, it was a very popular name. If you were born in America and happened to be a girl, there was a decent chance your name was Karen. It sat proudly in the top 5 baby names for years.
No baggy. No stereotype.
Just Karen. But every story has a turning point. And this one, it begins with a haircut. Secondly, the haircut heard around the world. You've seen it. You've probably imitated it in jest. The blonde bob with harsh layers, aggressive side bangs, and the unmistakable "can I speak to your manager" energy. For some reason, this haircut became the visual shorthand for entitlement, microaggression, and suburban rage. And paired with that name, Karen, it just clicked. But how did an ordinary name get tangled up in entitlement? To understand that, we have to go back, way back, to the beginning of internet memes and the strange cultural forces that shape language itself. Internet culture, the petri dish of stereotypes. In the early 2010s, meme culture began to brew with a new flavor of sarcasm. Platforms like Reddit, 4chan, and later Twitter and TikTok became breeding grounds for exaggerated characters. One of those characters was a white woman, usually in her 40s or 50s, who weaponized customer service policies, yelled at minimum wage workers, and felt disturbingly confident calling the police over noise in the park. And someone somewhere called her Karen. Stuck. The name Karen became the archetype, a cultural meme standing in for the self-righteous, passive-aggressive, and entitled white woman. She wasn't always racist, but often she was. She wasn't always wealthy, but she always acted like she was owed something. Whether she was hoarding toilet paper in a pandemic or filming her confrontation with a barista, Karen had arrived. Viral moments. Karen in the wild. You remember the videos. A woman screaming at a teenage fast food worker because her coupon had expired. Another calling the cops on a black family having a picnic. A suburban mom demanding that someone take their emotional support dog off the plane. It wasn't just behavior. It was performance, loud, theatrical entitlement with a sprinkle of victimhood. And the internet had receipts. These videos were often captioned with the same word, like a warning label. Karen. It didn't take long for the term to reach peak virality. Twitter threads, TikTok reenactments, Instagram accounts with millions of followers sharing Karen sightings. Even celebrities got involved, with comedians like Trevor Noah and Hassan Minhaj breaking down the Karen phenomenon in satirical deep dives. Chart decreasing the decline of Karen, a name with collateral damage. Here's the dark twist in this cinematic arc. Actual women named Karen began to suffer. Imagine your name was Karen. You'd done nothing wrong. No yelling at baristas, no HOA abuse, no unsolicited police calls. But now every time you introduced yourself, people chuckled. Or worse, they gave you that look. Baby name databases showed a sharp decline in newborns named Karen after 2016. Parents weren't risking it. Even among adults, some Karens chose to use their middle names professionally. The cultural association was too strong. And for every innocent Karen, there were a dozen viral ones digging the stereotype deeper into the digital cement. But why Karen? Why not Susan or Janet? That's a great question. And the answer is part coincidence, part phonetics. Karen is short, easy to say, and punchy. Sounds sharp, almost like a command. Compare that to Linda or Debbie. Too soft, too round. Also, names carry generational context. The typical Karen of meme culture was born in the 60s or 70s. So the name fit the profile of the middle-aged woman who showed up in viral videos around 2015 to 2020. There's nothing inherently wrong with the name. It just became the perfect cultural scapegoat, a container for societal frustration, especially around race, class, and consumer behavior. The backlash: is Karen sexist? Racist? Unfair? The rise of the term wasn't without controversy. Some argued that Karen was sexist, used to silence women who were merely outspoken. Others claimed it was ageist or even classist, pointing out that not every demanding woman deserved the label. And yes, there's some truth to that. Not every confrontation is a Karen moment. And reducing people to a meme risks losing the nuance of real social issues. But here's the hard truth. The Karen phenomenon didn't create entitlement. It exposed it. The meme didn't invent white privilege or suburban microaggressions. It simply gave them a face, a name, and a spotlight. And for better or worse, people listened. The Karen apocalypse, peak 2020. The real climax came in 2020, during the height of the pandemic and the racial justice movement. That year was a perfect storm for Karen content. People were on edge. Tempers flared. Cameras were rolling. And Karens were everywhere. The Central Park dog walker. The mask-refusing grocery shopper. The woman blocking a black man's car and calling the cops, just in case. The internet didn't just share these clips, it exploded them. Viral backlash came fast and hard. Some Karens lost jobs. Others were doxxed. A few even went viral a second time, trying to explain away their actions with shaky apologies. The Karen meme had become a cultural reckoning, and no one was safe from its reach. What's next for the name Karen? The meme is evolving. Today, newer names are starting to creep into the cultural lexicon. Chad for the overconfident bro, Kyle for the Monster Energy wall puncher. Even Ken is gaining traction as Karen's male counterpart. But Karen? She still holds the crown. Despite the fatigue and backlash, the name remains a shortcut for something we all recognize: performative privilege. And though it's been misused at times, the core idea still resonates. We all know a Karen. We've all seen a Karen. And deep down, we all hope we're never caught becoming a Karen. Last but not least, the name Karen didn't ask to be infamous. It was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, an ordinary name that collided with an extraordinary cultural moment. But names don't define people. Actions do. So maybe instead of retiring the name, we retire the behavior. Because the world doesn't need fewer Karens. It needs more self-awareness.